start.
Good evening, folks. Welcome to this very, very interesting webinar of TiE Mumbai. I know all these while we've been having very serious ones, talking about survival, what is going to happen to the startup industry. And we're all kind of sitting and thinking, what's our future? But we thought, we'll kind of twist it a little for this one and get some of the most rocking folks from Bangalore, my city. Malveshwaram Huduga, by the way, for all folks who don't know. And also, I think what I like about them is, they do clean humor, which has been the strongest point. And so I've got Vishal Gondal. Most of you know Vishal from Bombay. If people don't know Vishal, then actually, it's like this. Vishal comes first, and then comes Arnab Goswami. So that's the pecking order in Mumbai. Vishal, over to you. Vishal.
Hey, thanks, Naveen. Welcome, everybody. On a Saturday evening, we are not going to be serious. Let me tell you that. This is hopefully going to be a fun and entertaining session, which started by the most common excuse we hear in Bangalore that people are stuck in traffic. So sorry for being a little late. As we can imagine, the Jordindians were stuck in Bangalore traffic, even on a lockdown. So anyway, we'll discuss that later. But for everybody who's here, Jordindian is one of India's most recognized comedy creators. Over the last few years, they have kind of created an amazing brand of humor and grown a cult following all over the world. I have to admit that my kids and even I am one of their biggest fans, and their video of how to study for exams that I and my son have played in our house many times. So I tell you a few dialogues of that. The brand has steadily grown to find its focus with a product first approach. And it's interesting, a lot of you are entrepreneurs here, and we learned that how they actually positioned and created a brand. And by the way, guys, big round of applause for them. They have reached 2 million followers on YouTube. So congratulations, guys. It's a big milestone. So in this session, we like to talk about not just the journey of the brand, but how, because this is a team actually. This is literally a startup. There are team members. They are all in Bangalore. That's a different discussion on how to do creative things in Bangalore. But I think over here, we have a very good team. Let me quickly give you a one-line intro, and of course, we'll then jump into it. So we, of course, have Vineeth Beep Kumar. He's going to do some very interesting beatboxing with me later. He's half Jordanian, full half South Indian. He's a writer, filmmaker, director, and dancer. We then have Nasir. And by the way, guys, I love your smoke shisha play FIFA video. That's outstanding. So we'll learn a little bit about how that was made. And literally, guys, they had spent a fortune making that video. And for a startup, that's how you invest in product. So we'll hear about that. We also have Anuj and Glenn. Anuj is their manager and looks after sales. He's the one getting the moolah in, while Vineeth and Nasir are dishing out the creative ideas. We also have Glenn, who's head of strategy, and he's been involved with the digital media business for some time. So we have a very interesting set of people here, guys. So before we actually jump, we have a few slides for you to kind of put in the context. Glenn, are you going to run the slides?
Sure. Yeah.
Yes. So, okay, guys. So let's start with you. You are the head of strategy and the manager. So it'll be good for us to hear the journey of Jordindian so far. So over to you, Glenn.
Sure. I will. So hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Sorry for being a little bit late. But yes, we as Jordindian, we see ourselves as primarily an entertainment company, and this being our baby as a brand. So today has been a great day because we hit our 2 million subscriber mark, and Jordindian was started about 4 years ago. And I'll actually let Vineeth run you through the story of Jordindian and how it came about. But just I guess we can run through the slide. So Vineeth, a little bit background. So all of us have worked spent a good part of our early and mid 20s working in the industry. So Vineeth used to be a host on a TV show, and he has some really great interviews. You can still watch them on YouTube right now, where he's interviewed Shah Rukh Khan, as you can see, A.R. Rahman as well. Nasir studied at a film school in Middle East and spent time working for an agency there, and also got his chops there with the digital media industry. And Nasir and Vineeth also, even till today, do sit on our own edits. Anuj as well, he's worked in the advertising business. He's been heavily involved with client servicing, so he really understands the nuances of what goes towards content selling. And myself, I used to work with a brand called Powerdrift, an automotive content brand, and joined when we were at about 100,000 subscribers, took it up to, as of now, the brand stands almost about 2 million, and work in the digital media space as well. So a couple of things here on the slide. Middle East is a big market for us. We did a tour there recently, which was a lot of fun. Yeah, I will probably just end it there and let Beep take over and talk about how the brand really started.
So just a request, Vineeth, I have muted you. Can you please use earphones if you can? There's too much background noise from your end.
I don't have earphones right now. I lost my pair, I think, a couple of days ago.
So no worries. You can just start off. If there'll be too much noise, I'll let you know.
Sure. So basically, Glenn has very accurately defined our roles as to who we are and what we do. But just to give you a background into what Nasir and I, where we started and where we are right now, it is like, I don't mean to sound too cliched, but it is like a dream, because we can't believe that we have 2 million subscribers. So huge thank you to everyone who's been supporting us. Thank you for all the love. That being said, about 4 years ago, actually, if I remember correctly, the date was May 25th, 2016, when I had come back from Mumbai for a holiday, and Nasir had come back from Dubai, and we were just chilling back at home, and we were hanging out, and Nasir just said, hey, listen, so people keep telling me that I need to start a channel on my own, and he knows that people were telling me the same thing. So he's like, why don't we start a channel together? And my first reaction was I laughed, because I was like, what are we going to do starting a channel? What do we have to offer? He's like, I don't know, just the things that we generally discuss. What if we put it onto a video format? Because that's what we're capable of doing. At the core of it, we're filmmakers, so why not bring that to the table? And I immediately, I said, nah, I don't think it's going to work out. Cut to 4 years later, clearly I was wrong. And I'm just happy that, I also thought about it and jumped on the wagon with Nas. And what started off as 3 videos that we wanted to make for our friends and family is now, I think, around 100 videos that we've made for a family of 2 million people. So we're really happy, and we're really grateful for the kind of response that we've got. And, adding Anuj and Glenn to our team has brought a lot more. They've contributed so much that we can call ourselves a company right now. And we're not just YouTubers anymore. We are internally entertainment house, and hopefully we're going to be one of the best in the country, and then global domination is what we're aiming for. But I don't want to reveal too much, because global domination sounds like I have evil plans. So I'm just going to stop talking right now and pass it on to Glenn, who's going to probably, if I missed out on anything, he can pick up from there.
Yeah, so I think we've covered it in a nutshell. Is there anything you'd like to add, Nas or Anuj?
No, I think world domination sounds good. Yeah, I think we're heading for that.
Before we go into
Nas, I'm just gonna take a second to compliment you on your hair. You look beautiful, I must say. It's very, very proportionate.
Yeah, my barber's been working really hard on this.
work from home. So guys, before we jump into this, what is the connection of Jordan and Jordindian? I mean, a lot of us, I know your fans know it well, but a lot of people here must be wondering that what is the history behind this unique name?
I think Nas has the best tale of Jordindian. So Nas?
Yeah, so by nationality, I am Jordanian. My father's a full Jordanian, and my mom's Indian. But don't worry, I'm legal. I'm here. I have all my papers. So that's why.
You have your Aadhaar card.
What?
Do you have Aadhaar?
Yeah. I have a OCI card, so it entitles me to do everything except for vote. So shucks. But yeah, so that's Jordan and India put together was Jordindian. So it was just a catchy name that just kind of clicked in our heads, and we were like, you know what? Yeah, I think this is a good. It was the Jordindian, but then we removed the and we just kept it. It was our
Like,
Facebook social media moment kind of thing.
And did you guys have formal training in making videos or films and stuff like that, or this is all self-taught?
So the base of it is that we love films. We are movie buffs to the max. Like we love all kinds of movies. Let it be comedy, drama, which is why people often they easily paint us with the brush of comedy creators. But comedy is what comes to us naturally, I would say. As in, it's the easiest one to connect with people. But if you actually ask us what we would like to do, we would like to make entertainment in any form. So, which is why we're into live gigs, we're into sketches, we're into web series, which we are currently working on as well. So, we have a bunch of things that we do, and all stem from the fact that we are movie buffs. We love movies, we love content in general. So, there's no formal training that we have, but a part of our curriculum when we were undergraduates was film appreciation and stuff like that. So, that's where we picked it up. And also, we knew that there is a world beyond just watching movies where we can associate ourselves with. So that's what led us to this in the first place.
And is there like a big Kannada film industry? Like I know KGF is possibly the movie which got the whole, everything on the map. But apart from that, is there like a big movie and film industry locally in Bangalore?
I mean, see, KGF is what got the most massy appeal. But if, in my opinion, TiE did a lot more in the film industry in terms of setting a standard for what a narrative can be and how you don't need a massy approach to telling a story. And TiE was one of my favorite watches as well. And which is why, I mean, because you brought KGF, I'm making this distinction. So there are a lot of films that I've enjoyed since we're talking about Kannada movies, especially. Lucia was a different kind of a storytelling, and it was, when it came out, it was really something that Kannada industry hadn't seen before. And these are examples that I'm giving, so just to say that there are filmmakers with less opportunities, and it's just a matter of time. Once they get the opportunities that they deserve, we won't be talking about Kannada industry, Tamil industry, Malayalam industry. It's going to be Indian cinema on the whole, because at the end of the day, Malayalam industry is killing it with the kind of content that they're coming out. And Tamil, every once in a while, they produce this gem which is unparalleled by Bollywood, if I may say so. And that's not discounting the kind of stuff that Bollywood puts out as well. And which is what we're working towards. We see this very, this very clear distinction between, oh, they're from the south, oh, they're from the north, oh, you guys are Bangalore centric. But here's the thing: if I crack a joke or NASA cracks a joke, people who are sitting in Australia or in Singapore or in Canada are laughing at it. So why are people in our country afraid to laugh at it? That's the only question that keeps coming to our mind. And which is why we're keeping it English. We keep getting asked, why don't you make content in Kannada? Why don't you make content in Hindi? And the thing is not because we don't mean to sound condescending, but it's just that we think in English. So we put it out in English. If we thought in Arabic, our content would be Arabic. So it's just easier for two cultures to connect with the medium of English, and that's why we stick to that.
No, it's interesting. So the director of TiE was actually a security guard, Era Gowda, right? He was.
I have heard that, but I mean, I'm going to take your word for it.
I've met him a few times, so I can vouch for that. But it is amazing that talent is now coming from all over. But let's keep the films aside, right? YouTube is such a unique medium, and you started when the whole AIB, and there were suddenly there were like tons of YouTubers who have come up. We all know that a lot of these companies, stroke channels, stroke individuals could not sustain it for a longer time, right? I mean, we know the issues which a lot of these people have faced. A lot of these channels no longer exist. Even though at one point of time they were possibly the biggest thing everybody was talking about. So what do you think has sustained you for so long? Because like I said, it's very difficult to, in this crowded world of YouTube and now TikTok and so much content, right? I mean, people are getting bombarded with content. Um, and attention span is becoming smaller with TikTok. People want 20-second content. How are you still catching the attention of your users, your viewers? Sorry.
Sorry, I dropped off a little bit there, Nas.
Yeah. So, well, initially, when we first started off, we kind of thought like there's a formula to do this, right? Because obviously there were so many big players in the game at that point, and we were still nobody. So we're like, okay, we have to like come up with this formula and then stick to it. And then, you know, once we crack the whole formula and the code, all our videos are going to do well and blah, blah, blah. But even right now, we know that there is no formula or fixed code that's going to work. But what works for us is, like Beep might have mentioned already, we come from two different backgrounds, but we kind of relate on the same things. And comedy is one of them. And we like to watch a wide variety of it. So the main thing that we focus on right now to like get our videos out there is that if we are laughing at it, then we want you to laugh at it. And we know that at least some of y'all with the same mindset as us are out there and are watching it and will laugh at it. Because like there are so many videos that we have shot and we have made and edited and completed that haven't seen the light of day because we've just not found it funny. The idea was funny, but once we shot it, we're like, yeah, no, it's not that funny. So let's just not put it out there. So yeah, we follow that simple rule that if we laugh at it, and even if when we're done editing, like we've seen it about like 20, 30 times now, and if it still makes us at least crack a smile or laugh, then that means it's good to go. Like that's how we basically kind of gauge things.
And adding to what Nasir is saying, so within ourselves, we represent two different demographics because I have a different way of looking at things. Nasir has a different way of looking at things, but we come together in terms of like, there is this one point. That point is basically relatability. And if we can translate this relatability through audiovisual medium to people, they will catch on to it as well. Sometimes, I mean, it is a hit and a miss, but most of the times we hit. And that's why I think, you know, to answer your question, we have sustained this long and we hopefully are going to sustain longer because our plans are much longer. So one thing that we want to keep in mind is that we represent two different demographics coming together, which means there will always be that two different demographics waiting for us to put out that relatable content. So as long as we keep it relatable and funny, I think we have what it takes to sustain longer.
And what do you define your brand as humor, right? Because see, there was another humor of AIB, which was very crass and, you know, bad language. And, you know, there are these very dark humor, but you've always, you know, like my kids watch your channels all the time. So how has your humor been different and what has not? It was very easy to get into that territory of AIB at that point of time. What made you now?
If I have to, and I'm not trying to sound diplomatic, but the thing is, there are certain things that AIB and TVF for that matter have done where their form of expression requires that kind of a language, requires that. I mean, like, it's like this. If I'm being very candid, when Nasir and I talk, we obviously sometimes, you know, we break into like, you know, swearing or something like that once in a while. But then again, it's not like we go out of our way to make sure it doesn't happen in our videos. It just naturally didn't come to us the first time, and then we didn't feel the need to cuss to be funny. And it wasn't our form of expression, is what we learned over time. It's not that we knew this is what we wanted to do, this is how we wanted to do. Don't get me wrong, it might have turned out completely different if we are those kind of guys. If we believe in a certain form of expression, we would go that way. Like right now, we are focusing on music videos, not because it's another way to get a different audience. It's just that we focus on music videos because that's the way certain things need to be said. Like some things are one-liners, some things are a sketch, and some things are music videos. Because it demands a certain kind of treatment, that's why we go with it. And we are just happy that it worked out, that we could be a family entertainment channel. But That being said, if let's say we also found it necessary to express ourselves a certain way, which is like cussing through our videos, I don't think we would have stopped ourselves, because then we're just kind of not letting our expression, fulfill what it's supposed to. But we're happy. Like I said, it turned out well for us. I'm happy that you're saying your kids are watching it. You're aware that you're watching it, and you're not telling them not to watch it. So that's a plus point.
So what was the conscious decision of not doing it, or creatively itself, it was never in your
creatively
plan?
It just never came to us, because that's what I'm saying. We found out through time that we are not those kind of people who express a certain way when we're talking to people. Like, for example, when we're talking to our parents, we're going to talk to them a certain way. And we found that when we talk in public also, that's how we are. And that's an extension of our content.
So there's an interesting question which came up. I thought I'll take it. So there are several reaction video channels using your content to grow their channel. So what are your thoughts around this whole new trend of reaction videos? And I think a lot of people are now looking up to your content especially. I don't know how many of them. You probably know the number of reaction videos.
If you'd like to pick one of us, because I feel like I've been talking a lot.
Yes, so Glenn, take that also.
Glenn.
Yeah.
All right. So with reaction videos, right? There's a funny story. Like, we didn't really know that, and there are some reaction videos that are very reaction channels are really smart, where they say, "Thank you, Jordindian, for letting us use your content." And internally, we thought that one of us gave them permission, but later on, we realized that we actually did. The thing about reaction videos, though, it is a controversial topic, but our opinion, or at least my opinion, is that they're now part of the ecosystem, and they kind of represent what people are seeing, right? And that's what people like to see. They like to see the laughter they have. And while we're not fond of all reaction videos, there are some reaction channels that are actually legit. Like, these guys do give very critical feedback, and that's something that, in a way, I think it's an interesting feedback loop, because you have one feedback loop that comes immediately through your comments, but this is more of a structured critical analysis. So I think my theory is that my thesis is that I think reaction videos are going to be the critics of the future. So I wouldn't be, and I think it's already happening. You're seeing a lot of these guys being invited to film premieres and stuff like that. So I think, again, for them, it's just a different kind of content. It's just evolution, because you would read these reviews by film critics on a newspaper, but those guys have now matured to this sort of a format. And I think as long as they themselves are true to their content, and they're not just simply doing it for the views and whatever, I think they will also survive this bubble. So right now it is a bubble. There are tons and tons of review reaction channels, and we honestly don't really focus too much on them. But I think
that question was from Rohit Pradhan. Thanks, Rohit, for asking this question. I actually now have a question for Anuj. Anuj, we have these amazing creators. They make content the way they want to make content. They're not listening to brands. They're not listening to any briefs. In this environment where every brand will say, "Hey, this is my product, please weave it into your story," or, "This is how I want my product. I want to see the script. I want to see every word. I want to see the video footage." How do you sell? How do you make money for these people?
So every time a brand or an agency approaches us, they sort of have like a specific brief in mind. But ultimately, we know our audience, so we will know what might work and might not work. So it's important for us to sort of tell that to the brand that we have this concept. So let us sort of organically plug in the brand, and ultimately we will meet those business objectives. So it's important to sort of just communicate that. Also, a lot of times, a lot of these agencies, they have like experience in TVCs. So they feel like that approach will work for them, but that won't. I mean, we can't take that same approach. It's a totally different landscape. So yeah, we just try to keep things as organic as possible in terms of the brand plugs.
No, but the problem is that most of the times the brand will say, "Hey, I'm launching this new, whatever, new product X, and I want it to be plugged in." How do you deal with them? Because in your case, like I said, your scripts are original. It's not like scripts are tailor-made for brands.
So basically, we try to weave in the product within the script. We don't force it in. We don't want to sell the product. We don't want to come across as a typical ad. If we do, then we're going to take a lot of heat from our audience. So we try to sort of seamlessly make it part of the script, so that it doesn't seem like we're selling it, but
And
it's
do you have some examples of this? Like, can you give a couple of examples so that the people understand how you did it? Something.
yeah. So for example, we've done a few collaborations with Breezer. So if you look at Breezer as a brand, it fits perfectly well with our brand ethos in general. So you don't really have to break your head so much in terms of sort of weaving it in the script also. Even if you're just holding the Breezer bottle, the it still does the job of sort of showcasing the brand. And Visa as a brand is really very fun, and that fits with our ethos. So that's an example where we don't have to break our head in terms of integrating the brand. But then sometimes you have brands like for example Tinder. Uh, so Tinder came to us with a specific objective. So they wanted other people to download the application. They wanted to increase downloads. That was a business problem that they came to us with. So we came up with a concept, and so the concept focused mostly on the idea. It really didn't focus on but it focused on how we could probably integrate the brand within our concept. So yeah, we came up with this concept where even if you look at the video, we don't really showcase the application too many times. It's more about the concept that was in light, and the product was or the brand was sort of weaved in that concept. And by the end of the brand actually called us with there was a spike in the downloads. So we did meet that business objective.
So Chris is asking a question, and again, I think Anuj, this is more for you, and maybe Glenn can put in that. Do you actually have a revenue target? Do you have a strategy? Like, how do you decide that, okay, this year we need to make X crores or X lakhs in revenue? Do you have any revenue plan, or like he's asking that, do you have targets for revenue or subscriber per quarter?
Yeah.
We do have targets. Ultimately, it's all about scaling up, and the best way to scale up is to sort of create, at least quarterly targets. And I think Glenn can sort of, explain this.
Yeah. So for any content creator, right, the two main metrics any content creator needs to keep in mind is reach and revenue. So whatever activation you're doing or activity you're doing, whether it's a branded deal or even if it's a content piece, you always have to ask yourselves, is this helping me reach more people or is this helping me make more money? So in simple terms, yes, we do have focused revenue targets that we have to hit, also very comfortably met. But the objective is not just to hit revenue for revenue's sake. It's also how is this adding value to what is it that we want to do, and also exploring other revenue streams that are also not just brand related. So in a simple answer, yes, we do have revenue and reach targets.
And what has the lockdown done to your revenue and your targets?
I'm sorry, I just need to add something before we move on. So Anuj is being really humble about something. You have to understand that we say more no's than we say yeses, which is why even though we put out content very irregularly, some of them happen to be branded content because sometimes we, if we have nothing to put out in terms of, there's a trend happening, but we don't have a concept for it, we don't go out of our way to make sure that we put out content. We don't trend jack in that sense. But if we have something like, for example, for Christmas, last Christmas, we put out a video about Savage Kids. And if people were expecting us to have a Christmas episode coming out. So the thing is, more than trend jacking, if we are more convinced about the idea, we go with it. Same goes with the brands. If we are convinced about if this brand can fit in organically with an idea, then we go ahead with it. Which is why he was explaining about Breeza and Tinder, because we had ideas for them, which we had flirted with, but didn't really do it. But when this brand came along, it felt like it was an organic fit. And there are a lot, for every 2 brands that we say okay to, we say no to 8 brands. And that is what Anuj will never tell you because he just doesn't like to complain. But that is one of Anuj's strengths as well. So Anuj, you've done a good job. I'm going to tell publicly.
Thank you.
It's awesome.
No, but I think, that's really a challenge, right? When you are running a company and a startup and you are, in a product where you don't have control over the product, right? The product is created by someone else. So Anuj, how do you then make sure that you convince the brand? Because telling no, that sorry, while your concept is there, we will not do it. How do you handle the no's?
You know what? Sometimes it's just not going to work out, and you just have to part ways. And it's important to not burn bridges, but you just be like, this is not going to work out now. Maybe we can work in the near future or something like that. And ultimately, you can't close every deal. I mean, that's just not possible. There are going to be hiccups on the way. That's just business.
But tell me, what percentage of your revenue comes from YouTube ads versus these branded deals?
So approximate numbers, Nas, you can take that.
No, go ahead, man.
So approximately, I'm guessing YouTube ad revenue, I think maybe 15%, approximately. And again, YouTube ad rates here in India are not so great, although our numbers are pretty decent. But also, like for us, right? It's also like a question of, if you don't put so much pressure on your targets, in the sense that, you know, a lot of people focus on sales now, especially content creators, because they focusing on expanding their teams, they're focusing on hiring more people, wanting to grow. But I think it's important for content creators to also spend a lot more time thinking about what it is that they're doing, and have like a much more long-term plan, because this industry now has reached some level of consolidation. So for us, we think 5 years ahead. So we're not in a hurry to say, okay, let us close this deal right now for the sake of closing a deal. But it's more of a question of, how does this feed into what it is that we're doing as a bigger picture. So in that context, it becomes more easier to take decisions like this, where we have to say no or yes, because then we're not putting that kind of a pressure on ourselves.
So
And I think that's really, yeah.
So sorry to interject there. The point really over here, Glenn, is that currently you guys are self-funded. Let me put it that way, right? It's between the four of you, you decide everything. But the minute, and you know, we are in a TiE forum, a lot of investors are hearing, are probably on the chat too. There has been a challenge, because I know there were some of these content creators, aggregators, whatever you call them, they raised investor money, and now suddenly they had to say yes to everything and create one video a minute. And you know, I know companies in Mumbai who had become content factory. Sorry, it was a machine, not a factory. Become machines.
I work for one of those machines also. So.
Yeah. So content machine, right? So the point really is that at one end, you can do what you are doing, but then you remain boutique, because, you know, at the end of the day, that's only that much videos you can make, and YouTube revenue is limited. So it's only how many brands you can associate with. So that kind of makes it a proposition which cannot, again, let me use the bad word, cannot scale.
Sure.
So do you first of all think that content creation as a business is going to be scalable? And do you think VCs and investors can even invest in this, given that all the constraints you talked about?
No, that's a really great question. And we always like tell people, we think as a product company. So for that, our first objective for this first 5 years was very simple, that we need to create a instantly recognizable brand. So people who see Jordindian should know exactly what it is, and we should reach a scale where a lot of people know who we are. So the first step is creating that brand, and that's how we've done it so far through our sketches and stuff like that. For phase 2, which is currently where we are in right now, we do have we're looking at scale for sure. Content as a business is not a scalable business, but we are working on some really exciting things that we want to share with you guys. Maybe in another 2 months it should be ready, which will help us achieve that scale. So we're working on some new content formats, some new ideas, completely different to what we're doing right now, and we are funding it ourselves because we want to make sure we get it right. And at that phase, which I think in that phase will also be a little bit more mature in terms of our revenues and all that stuff. But we do have a plan for scale in very short term. So.
And is that then going to be a
it's not
play? Is that a platform play or still a content play?
It's a content play. It is a content play. Without maybe giving away too much, I guess you can say that it is going to be focused on. Yeah, it's a content play. So we're really excited for it. We've been working on this for the last like 2 months, and we really can't wait to share it with the world. But that is going to be our scale play.
Fantastic. So I know Nasir is really dying to tell us more about this content play. Nasir, do you want to add something?
Yeah, it's content play, sure. No, I mean, yeah, I mean, we've been working on a lot of exciting stuff. So we actually, I mean, if it wasn't for the whole lockdown thing, it would have probably been out by now, I guess. We would have been at work, because just before the lockdown, we've been working every single day. We've been meeting up every single day, which is not a usual thing for us, because we meet like maybe thrice a week and work hard, but like now it's just been like every single day. And then once the whole COVID thing happened, it kind of just took a complete stop on everything. But now that we're slowly starting to figure out how to work with Zoom calls and stuff like that, and the flow of work's back on, yeah, we don't want to say too much, but it's definitely something that we never thought we would do at any point in the start of Jordindian. But I think it's a very organic way to go about, and it's definitely going to be fun.
So there was a question here. I think Vineeth should take this. How do you handle creative differences? Aditya Manoj is asking.
So the beauty about our collaboration, and when I say us, I mean Nasa and me, is that we've been friends for 12 years now. And there's pretty much a lot of topics that there are not many topics that we haven't covered. We've spoken about a bunch of things that we never thought would become videos. And I'm saying this because when those videos became, as in when it hit the people and when they responded with, oh, we love this and this, where do you come up with this and this, that, we thought we had a certain understanding of how this works. And one of what Nasa mentioned earlier, we thought if there is a formula to this and we can crack it. Most of our creative differences come because one of us thinks that this is how this is going to work. And we think that is going to be the best way moving forward for a punchline or something. But then at the end of the day, again, we need to go back to the basics, which is if he finds something funny, there are a lot of people who are going to find that funny. And if I find something funny, a lot of those kind of people are going to find it funny, which is why we have the one and only person who we go to when we have a creative difference, that is Nasa's mom. She is our best critic and she is our best reviewer, or rather previewer, where she previews. Let's say we have a creative difference. We usually do both the edits, as in we do two cuts. One with the way he wants it to play out, one with the way I want to play out, which is why we take a long time to put out videos. A lot of people think that we're lazy, we're running out of content. Might be true, but the actual truth behind it is the fact that we take our time with it. We love paying attention to detail, and one of the details is that which is going to work. We know that both might get laughs, but which is more relatable, which is funnier. So then we bring in our best critic, which is Nasa's mom, and she'll straight up just tell you both are unfunny, and then we'll figure out plan C or something, and which is why most of our things end up being something that we never thought about, because we are literally pushing ourselves with the differences, but then Nasa's mom will come and flatten out everything and say both are shitty, start again. So that gives us an extra edge over being, that humbles us that keeps us humble to a large extent.
I've been noticing also, right, that your videos don't come that often. And I was equating this laziness to the Bangalore weather, I thought. Because in Mumbai, content creators are like, churning out videos. Ashish Chinchalani is on every live. You open up Instagram and he's doing a live session. And there is so much activity there. So what is causing this? Why are you not in Mumbai, guys?
See, this is one thing we keep talking about. We feel, without taking up any names, there were a lot of people who went from Bangalore to Mumbai. And if they stayed in Bangalore, they could have done a lot more for the ecosystem over here. Like the independent scene over here would have become an industry by itself. But then, obviously, better prospects there. Mumbai is where the contacts are. Mumbai is where the network is. Mumbai is where the production houses are. So it's easier to work from there. But for us, it feels like this is part of our long-term plan, which is just because we're in Bangalore doesn't mean we should be handicapped in any way. It's not a reason for us to be incapable of anything. That doesn't talk about what our art should be or what our craft or creative approach to the craft should be. So it's just a matter of time before they realize, like, we literally want people to say, shit, have you seen the things that guys in Bangalore have been doing? That's what I want. And one of it's a very small thing, but when we put out this last music video called Exam Time, it was a collaboration with Netflix, and we had screenshots from Netflix, from the internal groups, asking who are these guys, why are they not in Mumbai? And that right there is validation to another level, where they're like, guys from Bangalore did this. And that's exactly what we don't really understand why it is that Bangalore people can't stay in Bangalore and do the same things that people in Mumbai are doing. It's a matter of a call. instead of people meeting over there, Zoom calls are making their way right now, especially during the COVID scene. I don't see the problem at all. We can do the things here that people are doing from Mumbai.
Yep. So I think maybe it's all about starting up an ecosystem, right? And I think
Yeah.
Mumbai has an ecosystem, and then maybe what you are doing is kind of developing that ecosystem there, because you need actors, you need, because as you scale, you need a whole host of crew to do this.
Yeah.
Which is
And if I may add to that whole thing of where you're saying Ashish Islami is doing a live and stuff like that, it also adds to the fact that in Mumbai, if there are 10 people doing the same thing, then the fight to stay relevant or stay on top is a lot more than in the South, where we aren't like, even if there are content creators, they're doing their own thing. They have their own way. They have their own identity. It's not the same kind of content that's being produced by, like, let's say a creator from Chennai is completely different from a creator from Bangalore. Whereas the North, there's this one template kind of thing, which is what is happening. It's a sad state of affairs. And I don't want to point any fingers, but it's like it fits into a template. Whereas here, even though the basics are the same, the way, the approach, and the execution is completely different, which is what sets us apart from the others who are doing great work as well. So we don't feel the need to, like, rush or be in the rat race. Even though Glenn keeps pushing us, saying, guys, I understand all these reasons, but you can't just sit and wait for things to happen. We need to push ourselves. So it is a work in progress for us as well.
So I think now everybody is looking to move out of YouTube and to OTT platforms, right? Netflix, Amazon Prime, there's Disney Plus now, Hotstar. So have you thought about that, or are you looking to make that that jump from YouTube to OTT platform, or do you think it's the same?
I did mention earlier that there are certain ways of communicating a content piece. One is a one-liner, a punchline, and it's done. One can be a sketch, and one can be a music video. So in that format, a web series, if you need a web series to actually tell a story, it makes sense. If you need a feature film to tell this story, then it makes sense. So in that way, it's like, for example, Nasser and I started as live performers, as in he's a dancer and he was a dancer. He still is, but we don't do live shows as much as we did before. But what was 10 minutes worth of content for a live audience is now 10 minutes worth of content for 2 million people across India and across borders as well. So now that can translate to 15 minutes, 3 episodes, and then become 8 episodes of half an hour each, and then become a feature film. So it all reflects an evolving state of entertainment that we're going through, and that's what we'd like to see through till the end.
Got it. A question from Arnav, that where do you get your ideas of characters like Dinesh and Sharon Auntie? Who wants to take that?
Nas?
I think Dinesh just kind of happened in a way. I think the first video was like initially one of our first maybe 5-6 videos. Beep said, let's go play with Dinesh. And we're not going to reveal who Dinesh is, but it was just a name that came out at that point, and it just came out from Beep's mouth, and we're just like, yeah, okay, yeah, let's use Dinesh then. And then it just sort of caught on with a lot of the youth, and everyone's just like, oh, Dinesh, we want to know who Dinesh is. And then Sharon was literally right after that. And I mean, Sharon Auntie is possibly the auntie that you'd want to DM. So it sounds like that. So we were just like, yeah, I think Sharon's a really good auntie to slide in there. So.
Got it. That's a good one. So another question I wanted to quickly jump on. When it comes to a platform like TikTok, I have not yet seen you there, or maybe you are having a smaller presence there. Are you looking at it seriously? What is your view on this new form of entertainment which has hooked the whole world?
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah.
So it's been such a fight to convince these boys that we need to be on TikTok. It's very simple. Yeah, I mean, with these, I think if you look at it, every 5 years there seems to be a new platform that is hot, and it's just, as creators, you just need to be where the audience is. Now TikTok is quite different from what we've obviously seen before, and the boys are very apprehensive on getting on TikTok because of the perception of how TikTok, the kind of content that people put out there, is something that we didn't want to jump in the bucket with. But I think TikTok in that sense has done a phenomenal job of sort of getting more premium like celebrities and stuff on. And I think it's also evolving as a platform where it's not just about kids dancing in their bedroom anymore. We're seeing things like EduTalk and all of those little bits of content that actually tend to add a lot of value. So for us with TikTok, we've been experimenting with TikTok for the last 3 to 4 months, trying out different things to kind of see how we can bring what's core to us. Like we don't want to really jump into the TikTok game and follow the trends and stuff like that that typically tend to work in TikTok. So we've been experimenting with different formats, and we're I think just not too much. I think we have about 12,000 subscribers on TikTok. But we found a great a formula that works for us. And in fact, the new video that we're dropping has a part that has been engineered keeping TikTok in mind. So we actually have a little dance step with these 4 separate characters, and those guys are going to be these little vertical elements that we'll see it on TikTok.
And that's coming tomorrow, the video, right?
Yeah,
I think in the next few days. And just one more thing about TikTok I would want to add as well is when we were doing a little bit of deep diving on TikTok as well. And we found that one of our little sound bites, so these sound bites are quite popular on TikTok, where people create a sound bite and they kind of reenact that one sound bite that has got 37,000 videos and almost 250 million views. And that was a little thing that which has the word Swiggy in it. So it's this little interesting little soundbite and it has the word Swiggy in it. And so we thought that, that's something that really clicked, at least resonated with me. Thinking from a metrics perspective, right, compared to like radio or TV or whatever, this has organically got 250 million views and we didn't even know about it. So that's when I thought like, okay, there's really something special here on TikTok. So how can we engineer those instances in our scripts and stuff like that? So,
it's a very interesting question from Sharlika that what mistakes have you done, right? I mean, over this journey, of course, you must have not got everything right. Do you have any suggestions from young entrepreneurs or young creators who want to start making videos? Is it too late now? Should they stop or look at new platforms? So 2 questions. What mistakes did you do? And what is your advice to your new creators? Maybe Nasir and Vineeth can start with the mistakes.
I don't think that we can pinpoint a certain mistake we've made. We've made definitely a lot of mistakes along the way, but everything is basically a learning experience for us. And that always kind of pushed us to do better and to just go with the flow of things. And as for the people who are working on like their YouTube channel and just like trying to be out there, I don't think there's like you just have to focus on like don't focus on the views, don't focus on the comments, don't focus on what people think. If you believe in your content, just keep doing your thing, keep putting it out there. I mean, for instance, they told us that for things to work, we need to put out content more frequently all the time for you to get those amount of views. And we didn't listen. And because we wanted quality over quantity. And talking about the whole weather thing, we're not really lazy because of the Bangalore weather. We're more like motivated to stay here because of the Bangalore weather. So we want to work on the best type content just so that we don't have to go to Mumbai.
So at this time, I want to bring in a guest over here. He's Veer, my younger son. That's Veer, and he's the biggest fans. And I also have Aryan, who's also a big fan. So they wanted to say.
Hi.
And Veer, do you have a question? You have the ability to ask a live question in a lockdown. That's his treat.
Yeah, basically, so like when you upload a video, like how do you manage all the notifications?
That's a good question. Beep son, notification expert.
Yeah, we basically the key thing over here is to understand that you have to turn off notifications, otherwise you're going to go insane. And so one of the things that we learned earlier on was that if we keep looking at our phones, we are not really getting to enjoy the filmmaking aspect of things. We are going more into the social media aspect of things, which is like, being glued to the phone, and that gratification that you can get from making a good film can also come from putting out something that's funny for even 10 seconds. So we kind of saw that we were leaning towards that, and we pulled away, turned off notifications when we upload a video or anything on Insta, on YouTube. We turn off notifications. So that's how we deal with that, just so that we can sit back and be
I
like
think
good.
his question was, when you upload your video, how do you manage notifications to the subscriber basis? Was that
No,
the answer?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other question for you, or you?
no.
And
Also,
question.
I've got a rather simple question and a funny one. Do you all play FIFA? And if so, where can I friend you?
that's you.
Have shisha and play FIFA, right?
Not for me, but
Yeah, yeah. It's been a while since I played FIFA. I used to play quite a lot of FIFA because, well, when I used to go to Jordan for our summer holidays, where my family is, most of the time all the cousins are just getting together and playing FIFA. So yeah, you can possibly add me on your PlayStation if you have a PlayStation 4. You can add me at Nasser_Alaze. It's you could probably hit me up. We'll play some FIFA together maybe sometime. Beep plays
You
real
can,
sports.
you can add me on Vineeth_Kabaddi player at 92. I'm just kidding. So Nasser is the gamer. I'm more of the sit back and watch people play games kind of guy.
So, by the way, there's a question here from Tanya related to the song. That do you write your own lyrics, and if yes, how do you come up with them? And especially, the FIFA song. I think you spent a fortune filming and making that video, is what I heard.
A lot of money, yes.
Yeah.
So, in terms of the fortune of it, like you mentioned earlier, it is an investment, and that's how we looked at it as well. And at this point, we should mention that we collaborate with this company called Do Creative Labs. So they help produce our videos. They actually are we call them the production guys. So anything we need, they take care of. So obviously, it was a joint effort between them and us, just to make sure that we put out the best product, because we were flirting with the idea of where do we shoot it? Should we create sets? Will that be too much of a cost? Do we just shoot it in front of a green screen, make it look tacky, but keep it, the creative approach is to keep it tacky. And then suddenly it hit us, Nasser's from Jordan. He has family living there. And he knows the places, at least he knows the people who know the places. So why not just get ourselves there and see what to do? So it was literally deciding a week before we went there. It wasn't like we planned it for too long, because our idea was to just put out the song before the World Cup finals. And given that was left us with like 15 days. So all that you see from pre-production to execution to post-production, everything was done within a matter of 15 days. And we just booked our tickets, got ourselves over there. And the tourism board of Jordan was really, really nice to us. They were very welcoming. They said they heard the song and they really liked it. They said it's fun and all the best. And they just let us shoot in the different historic places. Like Indiana Jones was shot there, and we got an opportunity to shoot at Petra, and that was one of the most surreal experiences for us.
You even had camels in the video, right?
It just happened, and this is where we feel that if you actually set out to do good work and put it out into the universe, good things will happen. I don't mean to sound too philosophical, but it happened to us. Like the camels, the people that we met there, everything led to something greater, and that's what the end product was. And it was just an amazing experience.
So by the way, I don't know, Vineeth, but already your managers have committed that you are going to perform over here 5 minutes or 2 minutes of beatboxing. So we are all eagerly waiting for that. I know it's almost 8 o'clock. We are coming towards the end, and a lot of people are just eagerly waiting for your beatboxing.
Before that, I just want to address one thing you asked. You started the last question by asking if we write our own lyrics. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. So Nasser is the lyrical genius between the both of us. Like, he nails it every time when it comes to, because we both love hip hop, and he has got the lyrical style down. He knows what Jordindian is when it comes to that. And from there, it's just throwing ideas at him, and he'll turn it into the best lyrics that you've ever heard. So good job, Nasser.
Thank you. all those math classes, not paying attention and writing lyrics about my teachers really paid off.
Fantastic. So could we go with a short session, Vineeth? We'd love it.
Wait, I thought I deviated and we moved on. Yeah, cool.
Audience
cool.
are here. The audience are not going to go away.
Sure, I can do that. But if it's a little rusty, I apologize. But here goes. So I'll tell you what. We'll make this interesting. We'll make it more interactive. I'm going to teach you the basics of beatbox. Is that cool?
Fantastic.
Okay, so I'm going to keep it very short. So there are 3 basic things that you need to understand when it comes to beatboxing. 3 basic sounds, that is. The first sound is like saying the letter B without the E, just the P.
Someone just said boots and cats in the comments.
Oh yeah, see, that's what. Boots and cats is the tutorials from YouTube. But my way is bits and cuts. I will get there.
The most South style.
South style, exactly. So, Mr. Vishal, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
So, it's like saying the letter B without the E, just the P.
B.
P.
B.
Now take out the just the
B.
No. Yeah. It's like saying the letter, just say the word two.
You know, this is anti-social distancing. If I start doing this, people will have to put 5 masks in front of me.
Okay, fine. Just say two.
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 Two. Two. Two. Two. Two. Two. Two.
Perfect. All right.
Two.
Now the two you take and apply to the poo.
Two.
Hold the saliva. Hold the saliva. No spitting onto the camera. Okay, we'll move on to a much simpler sound. The second sound.
Yeah, I think you should do this, man. People are not here to listen to me. They are here to listen.
Are you feeling conscious? See, that's part of learning. Okay, it's simple. So you say bits and cuts. You say it like a South Indian, okay? Bits, cuts, bits, cuts, bits, cuts. Yeah, but once you get the hang of it, like when you practice for weeks, this is what it's gonna sound like.
Okay.
And then when you get really good at it, it's gonna sound something like. And then my favorite beat of all time is parting like the South Indians do. So basically, it's called the tapang, where I come from. So it goes. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I am a North Indian, so we are more in the Bhangra mode. But
okay, I got something for you.
Yes, that's a beat. Anyway, guys, it is outstanding. Thanks a lot for your time and such amazing lessons. I think over here, I think your focus on your audience, your product, and I think you said a very important thing. If you don't like it, you are not going to serve it. You're not going to, you've scrapped so much content. You've been very selective about who you associate with that brands. You have rejected more scripts than taken up. That shows quality. And I think in today's world, even though there is so much, what I use the word junk content, if you are not creating junk, you are creating a masterpiece. And which is why there are so many fans. And you can see that in my own house, I had these 2 little guys who were like, oh, they were so excited. And there were so many people here. Amazing vibes. A lot of your fans here, guys. I'm looking forward to seeing you in Mumbai, maybe sometime soon. Or don't worry.
We love coming to Mumbai. We love coming and chilling there.
No, but when I come to Bangalore, the problem is the flight from Mumbai to Bangalore is shorter, but from the airport to the city takes forever. But anyway, once again, thanks a lot, everybody, and for this amazing session. We learned a lot. I know we could not take all the questions, but I'm sure you can reach out on Twitter or other handles and come here. But I know, guys, this is the COVID times. We all hope lockdowns will end, economic activity will begin, and in the best case, I think your videos are keeping people entertained and motivated. So thanks a lot once again.
Thank you so much
More
for
power
having us.
to you and more power to your creativity. Naveen, over to you for thanking everybody, and then we officially close the panel. Naveen, you're here?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah.
Thanks a ton, Vishal. Thanks a ton, the Jordindian folks. Next time, Bangalore lidre Sharon auntie manel nodana ellarna.
ये प्रॉब्लम है, ये साउथ इंडियन का प्रॉब्लम है. सडनली सब लोग मद्रासी में बोलने लग जाते.
See, again, the problem with you people is, below Maharashtra, everybody is Madrasis. You don't even know that about state.
I don't know what specific language you are speaking,
sir. So, guys, thanks a ton. And the best way that I'm going to get to Bombay is, guys will be there in one of the last shows that we host at PyCon. So I'm inviting you guys. You guys will either come and perform or you guys will be talking at PyCon. And the other part is I don't know when that's going to happen now. But definitely you guys will be there. And thanks a ton. My wife got me introduced to you guys like about a year ago. And she said, you being a South Indian, you must look at these guys. And she's a Punjabi, so... And I have been a fan ever since then. And every bit of my childhood growing is what you guys portray in all your videos. So thanks a ton again. And thanks, Vishal. And folks,
I'm glad you can relate.
Thank you so much.
Thank you again.
Go check out Vishal's new product. It's Vital 3. He has pivoted for the COVID times. And it's the new Goki product, which can also get you, your body temperature tested. So please do check on that as well.
Yeah, Jordindians, please do a video for us, guys. This is the new thing which is going to change the world, and we're going to fight COVID. I'm trying to.
Anuj is the guy, the best person. Anuj, please get on him.
Yeah, we're going to do a live negotiation. Offline. Thanks a lot, everybody, and more power to you. And we hope that everybody is going to remain safe at home, and we are going to fight this horrible COVID together. Thank you, and good night. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, everyone. See you. Bye.